Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever your current life situation is. Hello, YouTube. This is Jeffrey Kite, back again with another episode of Kites and Curiosities. We got 3 Caleb's Cards Junk Wax Challenge 6 returns, all of them coming out of Greensboro, North Carolina. So we know these are going to be all NASCAR because that's what the contest is. So hopefully got some good stuff in here. But before we get started, I got to return to sender on this man right here, Jody Ridley. He was a Caleb, well, he was going to be Caleb's Cards Junk Wax Challenge 6 entry. I sent a card to him to sign of someone who is deceased. It was a car owner. I don't want to give it away and maybe ruin my chances of giving any information out. I don't know. It seems like an underhanded thing to do, but, you know, we're in a contest. We're all trying to win, so maybe y'all will forgive me on that. But at any rate, Jody Ridley. Jody Ridley, just to catch you up to speed, he was a Rookie of the Year in the early 80s. I want to say he was the 1980 NASCAR Rookie of the Year. But I found this address, and apparently it don't work no more. So if anybody is looking to write Jody Ridley, this address is no more, no good. So there's a return to sender label. So that's it for Jody Ridley. I'm going to have to find another one for that gentleman that's in the envelope to sign. So like I said, 3 coming out of the Greensboro, Piedmont Triad area. I don't know why it's called the Piedmont Triad area. I think some people have asked me, why is it called the Triad area? I'm not real sure. But I did answer why it's called the Research Triangle for Raleigh, Durham, and it wasn't Winston-Salem, it's Chapel Hill. It's because all 3 of them cities have big major research universities. North Carolina State in Raleigh, Duke over in Durham, and then the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. So this I'm not real sure about. So I'm going to have to do some research to find out what that is. So let's start with this one here. This one was received March 11th, or stamped postmarked March 11th. Let's see what we got. Oh, nice. Nice. Here we go. Starting it off with Mr. Richard Childress. He signed 1, and he signed 2 for me. They look better in person. Let's see if I can get a good close-up of them. It's a good autograph right there. Richard Childress, they call him Mr. Rick, and both of those cards, one of them was from a Caleb's Cards pool, and one of them was from a personal collection. Richard Childress, he had a really good NASCAR career. As a driver, he had 76 top 10 finishes from 1969 to 1981. Didn't win a race, but, always ran fairly decent. Always had good equipment. Just never could, put it all together as a driver. And in 1981, he retired as a driver. And the story goes, an owner by the name of Rod Osterlund, he wanted to get out of the game. He'd had enough of it. And so he retired and sold his team to a guy named J.D. Stacy. Well, Rod Osterlund's top driver did not want to drive for J.D. Stacy. And that top driver was a man by the name of Dale Earnhardt. And Dale Earnhardt was coming off the championship in 1980. That was his first NASCAR championship. Well, he got with old Richard Childress. They had kind of been friends and buddies and worked together a lot in the NASCAR circles, and so Richard started him up a race team and picked up old Dale and put him in the Wrangler Jeans car. Well, they had a good season in 1981, but not a great season. Dale, he came in 7th in the points series, and did okay, but didn't win a race. And so he was kind of getting some feelers around who he wanted to race for. So he left, and Richard picked up Ricky Rudd. And Ricky Rudd ran 2 seasons with him in 82 and 83. And Dale decided to come back to Richard in 84 and said, come on, let's make a big run of it. And boy, did they ever. Let me tell you. He came back in 1984, and within 2 seasons, they were champions. They won a championship in 86, 87, 1990, 1991, 1993, and again in 1994. So Richard helped Dale win 6 of the 7 Cup Series championships that he was able to win. Richard also, Mr. Rick. Let me preface. We all call him Mr. Rick. Mr. Rick, he's a 6-time Busch and Xfinity Series champion owner. He won 6 championships with guys like Kevin Harvick, Brian Vickers, Clint Boyer. His grandson, Austin Dillon, won a championship for him in the Xfinity Series. And Tyler Reddick recently won a championship for Mr. Rick. And then, even in those stock cars, he has run some Truck Series races and won 2 championships in that. He was a champion with his driver Mike Skinner in 1995, and then his grandson Austin Dillon won him a Truck Series championship. I want to say that was in 2011. And also in 2011, his other grandson, Ty Dillon, won Mr. Rick an ARCA championship as an owner. So, I mean, he can really, really put you in some good equipment and put you in the winner's circle and put you in a good position to be a champion. He hadn't won a championship in a long time, but I think this year's going to be the year that comes to an end, because he done picked up old Rowdy, Kyle Busch. And Kyle's had a great year so far. He's done fantastic. And didn't do so well in Atlanta. He got caught up in a melee there, kind of close to the end yesterday in the race. But I think Richard's got some horses. He's going to win him a championship this year. Ain't no doubt about it. So glad to have this back, or not back, but glad to have this in my collection, Mr. Richard Childress. Very good. Awesome return there. All right. Let's see what we got next. Again, this one's stamped March 13th, 2023. Let's see what we got here. Oh, nice. Here we go. Mr. Dale Inman. He signed 1. Let's see if I got... This was my Caleb's Cards entry. And this is from my personal collection right there. Dale Inman again. Beautiful signatures. Woo-wee. Awesome returns by one of the greatest crew chiefs in NASCAR history. Let me tell you about old Dale here. Dale, he's got 193 wins as a crew chief. That's most all time. Most of those wins, 188 of them, came by way of his cousin, by a man simply known as the King. That's right. Mr. Dale Inman here. He was the crew chief for Richard Petty on all 7 of those championship teams. He also was the crew chief for Terry Labonte in 1984 when Terry won his first championship. And he was a consummate professional. He could really, really maximize his team's efforts and just get the most out of the car, out of the team, out of the pit stops. I mean, the man was so smooth. And ironically, even though he's got more wins than anybody in the history of NASCAR as crew chief, he was voted the second greatest crew chief of all time behind Ray Evernham. Now, Ray Evernham, he was good. I mean, he was good, but I mean, in my opinion, he wasn't Dale Inman good. But hopefully that don't make you mad, Mr. Evernham. But, I mean, you and him, but I mean, if you had to pick top two, Evernham and Inman right up there. Take your pick on who you want to be number one. For Inman's work, he was voted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2012. Just a phenomenal man. Wonderful guy. Great signer. Good career, Mr. Dale Inman. Look at that. Get a little close-up on that. Gorgeous, gorgeous signature. Gorgeous. Very happy to have this thing back. Very nice. All right. Slide him down and over. All right, let's get the last one here. This one's stamped March the 10th. Let's see what we got here. My wife and daughter in there going crazy about something. I knocked my camera. Let me fix it back again. Oh, hey. Speaking of the king, hey. This is from my personal collection here, and this is my entry into Caleb's Cars Junk Wax Challenge. This is memorable moments from the North Wilkesboro race, first Union 400. Just to give y'all some insight, right there is Rob Morsco's car. He was Rookie of the Year in 1990 and sadly passed away that year. He was posthumously awarded Rookie of the Year that year. He died in a wreck. And there's the king jumping up over the top of Rob's car there. Looks like he got some air and got a little loose, and King just drove right over. King drove right over him on that one. And just catch you up to speed on this. This race right here, First Union 400, it was a race won by Brett Bodine. Y'all saw me when I got my Brett Bodine return. I don't know when I got that. He held off Darrell Waltrip for the win. But early in the race, King and Rob Morsco, they got tangled up. Rob was knocked out of the race, but King, he was able to get that car back up and running and ran a fairly decent race. He moved up and had some good position until eventually the car just kind of gave out on him. But just this card signifies just his never say die attitude. Just never quit. Patch it up. Let's get it back out on the road. Let's get it on the track. And it was just... it's a testimony to his fighting spirit. But this one from my personal collection. King, he needs no... I've featured him a bunch on this channel. What more? But just to catch you up to speed. But what more can you say? 7-time Grand National and Cup Series champion. 200 wins. It's an all-time record. 7-time Daytona 500 winner. 27 wins in 1967. That record will never be broken. He was Rookie of the Year in 59. 8 times. He was the NASCAR Cup Series most popular driver. And in 1992, a lot of people don't know this, 1992, he was the Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, or one of the 1992 Presidential Medal of Freedom recipients. Storied career, fantastic man, great signer, NASCAR Hall of Famer, Mr. Richard Petty. I'm going to feature that one to make sure Caleb knows that was my pull from the Junk Wax Challenge. So there we go. That's the ones we got. So Mr. Richard Childress, we can cross him off. We can cross off Dale Inman. Where's Dale? Dale? Oh, there he is right there. And then the memorable moments there. First Union 400. There it is. And get Dale a little bit better right there. All right, let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 points. Caleb's Cards Junk Wax Challenge. All right, folks. As always, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Till next time, y'all take care. Now, have a good one. Bye.